Here's who I thought stood out the most against the Eagles. Let's get into it. As the Pies did what they needed to do against the Eagles, there were a couple of players, well, a few players that stood out to me in a game where, not everyone played as well as they could have. We talked about this in the review. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and watch that. So here are my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 in this game. So in fifth place, I had Darcy Cameron. I thought he had a really good game. Probably not his best game that he's had, but he did have to weather the brunt of the Ruckworth. I did like Dan McStay helping him out as well. What I loved about Darcy Cameron's work, though, was not only was he tapping it out, he was getting his own tap outs and just amassing clearances. He had 8 clearances for the game. I thought his around the ground work was really well. I thought he worked really well around the ground, and we got to see how he would play without Billy Frampton. So when he was dropping into the backline, took a couple of intercept marks, and he's just one of the best to do it at the moment as a ruckman. And I'll probably say this every single week, but I'm thrilled to have him on the team, and we need to throw everything we can at him to keep him at the Pies, because not only is he a great player, but he just makes us better, filling those holes that we need in the forward line, taking marks, dropping back and taking marks, and that's why I've got him in my top 5. At number 4, I have Josh Daicos. Now, Josh Daicos had 30 disposals, a couple of clearances. At the start of the game, he was on absolute fire. I thought he was due for a 40 disposal game. I thought he started like a house on fire, slowed down a little bit, but still provided us that width, still provided us that run off the half back line and those rebounds from 50. When him and Nick get going, we know that it's just impossible to stop, or near impossible to stop. But it was just more than that performance yesterday with his brother. It was just his individual performance, and that's why I've got him as my 4th best player on the ground. Now, my number 3 best player on the ground is someone that I feel has gone under the radar a lot this season. And I will do a video soon about my most underrated Collingwood players so far this season. But Jack Crisp at number 3. I thought he had an incredible game, but a game where he doesn't get plaudits because Nick Daicos had a great game, because Scott Pendlebury had a great game, because Charlie West kicked one on his debut. I thought he did everything that he needed to do. He had nearly 600 meters gained. He went at 70% disposal efficiency, 4 score involvements, a couple of intercept possessions, a couple of inside 50s. But when you need someone reliable, Jack Crisp continuously steps up, and he's been doing it for, 10 years every single week. He just keeps showing up and keeps being that reliable player that we need him to. He's not as flashy as Nick or Josh or, Pendles or these other guys, but he goes in, not only gives it his best crack, but again, just absolutely reliable. And I thought this was one of his better games for the season. Now, 2 and 1. It's either Nick or Pendles. I think Brownlow Night's going to be absolutely interesting for this game about who gets the 3 points. But for number 2, for my second best player on the game, I've got Nick Daicos. Nick, what more can you say about Nick that hasn't been said? 700 meters gained, 35 disposals, a goal, 1 goal, 3. He could have had a couple of goals. I've got him as second, behind Pendlebury, of course, only because that Nick-centric feeling that I had with yesterday's game, I don't know, we need to tidy that up a little bit. It's probably not Nick's fault. It's probably definitely an instruction to say, when Nick's there, give him the ball and keep going. But other than that, I thought he had a fantastic game, and it was nice to see him not having a hard tag and just how loose he can play. But again, sometimes with a tag just works better for the team. But I thought this was a great individual performance. It's going to be a toss-up whether they give him the 3 votes or Pendlebury the 3 votes. And then, of course, number 1, Scott Pendlebury, just like a fine wine, just keeps getting better. After the game, he said his body hasn't felt this good in 5 years. Like, what does that tell you? He probably can play for another 5 years. He had 10 inside 50s, 9 clearances. When the going got tough, the tough got going, and Pendlebury was that guy. And we probably shouldn't have to rely on him to have 9 clearances in a game. Nick had 5, but probably shouldn't have to, need him to have 9 clearances. But I'm glad that he did, because he just had an incredible game. Didn't even touch 30 disposals. It was 28 disposals, 6 tackles, but he just knows what to do with it. What did he go at? He went at just around 70% disposal efficiency. He did get caught a couple of times, but I thought this was a vintage Pendles performance when we needed someone to step up, especially in that first half when we were just playing shithouse. We needed someone to step up, and who better to step up than the cool, calm, and collected head of Scott Pendlebury. I do want to make mention of a couple of other players. I thought Steele Sidebottom had a good game. I thought Dan Houston is coming along in the team a little bit better than he has in the last couple of weeks. Liked what he did. Harry Perryman is just that stopgap that we need down back, especially, now with Billy Frampton, we're going to have to be using him a lot more in the half back line. I do really want to see him run through the middle when we can. Charlie West with his first goal. And, the forwards did the forwards. Tim Membry kicked 2 goals. Kicked that really nice one from 50. Brody Mychak kicked 2 goals as well on his 150th. So there were players that did exactly what they needed to do. Now, the players I think could step up a little bit. We talked about Charlie Dean's performance in the review of the game. He needs to take these opportunities with both hands, and it just, I don't know, looked like he was shirking contests a little bit, didn't want that body pressure on. I know how good of a player he can be. I've seen him in the VFL. I've seen him absolutely smash it in the VFL with that confidence, and in a game that isn't a baptism by fire game. It's not like he's going up against Curnow and Mackay or one of the King brothers or, Jeremy Cameron. It's a couple of young West Coast kids. He should have been stamping his foot on the game. The one positive I do have with Charlie Dean playing is that it did let Jeremy Howe have a good game. It did let Darcy Moore have a good game as well. But you also need to have a good game. And Charlie Dean just didn't do that last night. And I hope he is able to turn it around. Isaac Quaynor, 9 disposals, didn't have his best game by any stretch of the imagination. There was a patch of the season where he was getting back to his best. He's just dropped off a little bit. We need his run and dash and his dare. I think Braden Maynard coming back into this team is really going to help our defenders be able to just play a little bit more loosely. We think Braden Maynard's just there for that crash and bash side, but he's actually a really, really good defender. I don't have to tell you that. You know that he's a really good defender. But what he's able to do, though, when he comes in, he lets Dan Houston, he lets Isaac Quaynor play a little bit more loosely because, Maynard can play a bit more of that lockdown-y role. So I'm really excited for Maynard to come back and help the defenders out, let them play with a little bit more excitement. But other than that, everyone had an okay game. I think maybe Lockie Sullivan, Lockie Sullivan, I thought had a good game. He kicked that goal, which was nice. 13 disposals. If I had to choose out of Lockie Sullivan or Ed Allen for next week, if we're to bring in a Tom Mitchell or something, or whatever it may be, I know Lockie Sullivan's more that Tom Mitchell-y type. I think maybe Ed Allen, just give him a run in the twos, just for a little bit more of that confidence. Let him find the ball a little bit more, and then sort of maybe bring him back in. He just didn't have the best game yesterday. But again, young kid, still learning his craft. But those are my standouts and who I think needs a little bit of improvement. Let me know yours down below. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.